Xavi last year, you felt the tension between him, the players, and the press, and everything else.
And the board.
And the board, everything else going on. I feel like Hansi Flick has just taken that on. Let the players play. Let them stay away from all of this. Let's just focus on our game, and then you're getting the best out of each of them.
What a difference a year makes. When FC Barcelona fired Xavi after a trophyless 23-24 season back in May, the Spanish Giants looked like a club in danger of falling from Europe's elite amid financial troubles. Well, that was before the arrival of Hansi Flick, who helped turn Barcelona into an attacking force with Robert Lewandowski and Barca's unmatched collection of young talent leading the charge. And the result is a very strong start to the new season that has included big wins against Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, a start that has the Catalans making a case for being the best club team in the world right now. Here's a look at their season so far. They have won 11 of 12 La Liga matches, only one loss, 6 straight wins across all comps, the most goals scored in Europe's top 5 leagues with 40, and 7 matches with 4+ goals scored across all competitions. Just a sensational and remarkable turnaround. And what a change in narrative from last season.
Is this the best forward group? Is this the best trio?
Front three?
Yeah, front three in European football. And if you're going to base it on stats, the answer is absolutely yes. Just looking at the numbers is absolutely incredible. 30 goals compared to, I mean, your next best is down at 22, and that's pretty close to the rest below. And we're talking about Bayern Munich, PSG, Atalanta. Look at Real Madrid, where they are. And they've got, you know, Mbappe and Vinicius. And Barcelona is absolutely banging on all cylinders. And let's just talk about, you mentioned Robert Lewandowski, the goals he scored. They're scoring 3.3 goals per game in La Liga.
It's insane.
That is an insane number. Can they keep that going? And you mentioned how the trio combines, and that to me is the most significant point that I think gives Hansi Flick a lot of feathers in his cap. The way they're combining together. 4 of Rafinha's goals have been assisted by Lewandowski and Yamal. 2 of Yamal's goals have been assisted by Lewandowski and Rafinha. 6 of Lewandowski's goals have been assisted by Yamal and Rafinha. They are not only playing exceptionally individually, they're playing exceptionally together. It's almost like us. Unstoppable. Should we have held hands when we said that?
Who's Lewandowski, who's Yamal, who's Rafinha?
Oh, yeah.
Who's retired? Because that's who I am.
I think you're Lewandowski.
Go ahead. Tell me why.
Because of your personality.
Yeah, that's it. That's what everyone was thinking.
You're the heavy hitter with the jokes. I set you up. I tee you up. I'm.
Can I give you some credit? You've gotten exceptionally good at that in the last year and a half.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Serve it up. Serve
really
it up.
has.
I know. No, I don't disagree at all.
In fact, a bunch of other comedians and I were talking about it.
That heartfelt moment from Alexis threw me off.
Yeah,
No, I want to be Rafinha, though.
It doesn't happen often.
Nico, make a case for Barcelona.
What you got?
I go back to an interview that we did with Lewandowski, Charlie and I, before the season got started, and we asked him about Hansi Flick, a manager that he had at Bayern Munich, and the balance between respecting Barcelona's DNA and playing the way that Hansi Flick plays. And you need to strike the perfect balance, because you can't have all your eggs in one basket, because I think you do ultimately need to respect that Barcelona has an academy that you can pull from. And not only that, have reliable players. And you look at their team that beat Real Madrid, and you see the likes of not only Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí. Pedri isn't La Masia, obviously. He's from the Canary Islands, but he's a young player that Barca has invested in. Marc Casado in the midfield after Marc Bernal tore his ACL. And Casado, we forgot about Bernal, who was like the sensation to start the season.
He's like a regen. No one knows where he came from.
And then it's Fermín López, Alejandro Valde. A lot of these, we mentioned Fermín? Yeah, we mentioned Fermín. And then Peña, the goalkeeper, who's also from La Masia. Ter Stegen tore his ACL, and we're talking about Barcelona being the best team in the world, and they don't have arguably one of their best players in Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. Because Iñaki Peña has been sensational in that he had a very good Clásico. So Hansi Flick has also put a lot of importance in La Masia, and from reports, his work doesn't only stop with the first team. he's at training sessions of La Masia and he's there scouting the future of Barcelona. So it comes from the tactics, from his identity, but it's also respecting Barcelona's pedigree in developing young talent.
Yeah. If you're gonna be a club that needs to play your kids, you should probably be Barcelona, because you've got a stable of absolutely world-class talents ready to go.
The thing is that you also kind of need to get lucky too, because Barcelona, it's not like La Masia disappeared for the last 10 years, and we haven't really been talking about elite level potential talent from La Masia. Look at Ansu Fati and the managers that Ansu had at Barcelona, and he flopped. He's on the team right now, but ultimately you would have to call.
There's still time, but for now, you're right.
Ansu Fati a flop, right? So it's a tricky situation because you gotta get them on the right path.
Okay, so the guy that's getting them on the right path right now is Hansi Flick. Is he getting enough credit for this resurgence for Barcelona?
I think he is. I think he is, in particular because of the drama that surrounded the managerial position last year. And I think that's where there were so many question marks. And, you know, he, in particular in preseason, brushed a lot of it off and said, you know what, we have to be a unit. We have to deal with that in-house. And he absolutely has. He's cooled so many fires. He's answered so many questions. He has done so much. Does it continue? Is there a rough patch? How does that handle? But even the simple thing of doing all of your press conferences in English and forcing the Spanish media to do it in English, and that hasn't become a massive, wild talking point. He's just kind of done it and gotten away with all of it because of the success. He's handled all of this correctly.
I think the fact that he doesn't speak Spanish also helps him.
Yeah, but
because he doesn't get caught up in the storm. It's like there could be a tornado, and not that he's aloof to it.
No,
but
I think you're 100% right.
He doesn't know how to enter. You know, like a controversy. It's honestly, it's such a silver lining because he doesn't bite because
he
can't.
He's taken a magic power away from the Spanish media that they can't ask a question in a cutting way because they're both forcing themselves to speak in a second language. So everything is a little bit more cordial than it really could be if they were able to really ask the question they wanted to.
The venom. I also think he's come in and taken, I think with Xavi last year, you felt the tension between him, the players, and the press, and everything else.
And the board.
And the board. Everything else going on. I feel like Hansi Flick has just taken that on. Let the players play. Let them stay away from all of this. Let's just focus on our game, and then you're getting the best out of each of them.
It's actually a genius move. Like when we do performance reviews, I'm going to say do it in Spanish.
But and I'm on board with everything that you're saying. Obviously, I want to see how this translates in funny word, but I want to see how this translates in a moment when the team isn't playing well. How they go after Hansi Flick, if there is going to be more or less controversy because he doesn't speak Spanish, and if he'll kind of dive into that controversy with his second language, which is English.
Right. That's why I said when there's a rough patch, we'll see.
And even for some
injuries, massive injuries.
Barcelona reporters, maybe even a third language.
Yeah, that's right, because Catalan, which I do not understand. It's like Portuguese and French mixed.
Let's take it back to what they're doing on the pitch. And we saw in that El Clasico, Darian, the amount of times that they caught Real Madrid offside.
It was epic.
And that super high press that they implement. Why is it so effective?
Because teams are so not used to that. I think especially when you have speed up top, you're always thinking advantage. How can I sneak past this? No one expects a team to be that organized in the back consistently as Barcelona have done, and it makes the field so small. Your ideas of how you come out to play against them are minimized. The how you can stretch them just doesn't work, and it becomes defeating. The more offside you get, it's as a forward that is so defeating because it's just on you simply not checking the line. Oh, my timing wasn't right. Oh, we're not connecting because now you're playing the ball super early and I'm not going to get there in time. I think it's so strategic. I think it's worked for them so well. And El Clasico was just so fun to watch. Look at how organized
the margins are razor thin. And if you would have thought of this logically before the game, before both of these games in the Bayern Munich match in Champions League, you would have thought, at some point they're going to breach this, and maybe not once, maybe twice, especially a team like Real Madrid, who salivates
this is
at the mouth.
This is what's crazy to me. 83?
That's absurd.
You have to be so organized in the back line, have so much chemistry, know your steps. I mean, Nico, you're a goalkeeper. You're the one who helps count steps and align everybody on set pieces and organize everybody, constantly checking. To have that many people organized at the same time in play is not easy.
I said high wire
Hansi
act
Flick.
when I was talking about Liverpool, and everyone was like, "No." How do we feel now about that word? Because I think that's what we would call it.
Is that what everyone did?
It's, but I wonder if it's a huge risk that they take. It's because, but they're very good at it, right? Because
they're good at it because VAR and that much.
Correct.
That's why you can't do this now.
In El Clásico, you would have thought, and like Mbappe was making bad runs, but you would have thought at one point they're
going to get burned.
They're going to get burned. They're going to connect. I mean, look at the space in behind. And Mbappe had an off night, a very off night, right? Mm-hmm. And we would have thought, I could have sworn that this guy was Hansi Flick was going to adjust because it's just so exposed.
Yeah.
And he,
it feels very dangerous.
And he didn't.
If it goes
impressive.
wrong, it's really bad. It's a bad look. But for them to consistently do this, what was it, 83?
Yeah.
That's insane.
What was second place? Like 34?
37?
Yeah, 37.
Oh, there it is.
Insane.
And they score a lot. I guess the counter argument to what we're saying is that, sure, they'll catch us one time, but I'm okay with it because I'm going to score 3.3 goals every single game,
because they
right?
recover the ball super high as well, and that's why we're seeing the front line.
They're so compact. The front line and the back line can have a conversation at a normal voice with each other.
True.
That's how close they are.
All right, so we're sitting here making the case for Barcelona as the best club in the world. Yeah. How would you react if I threw Liverpool into that mix?
No, it's a good.
You could make a case for Liverpool being one of the more on form. But best right now, there's.
How far do you see the separation between a Liverpool and a Barcelona right now?
Not incredibly far.
No.
But there's space there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more convinced, especially with the three guys up top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
That's what's killing.
like, who's Liverpool's three up top? Salah, but Hakpo
Salah,
rotates
Hakpo,
with Lucho, but
Diaz,
Lucho has been on the bench.
Yeah.
He rotates them, and
He had
to Liverpool's
he had
benefit.
Gakpo and Diaz starting together yesterday, which
Right, doesn't often happen. It
doesn't
was either
often
one for the
happen.
other one, but look, it's worked out.
He's inserted Darwin up there at the 9.
Who's not been the best.
Which I still think is the right way to go with the amount
When
of
Jota
matches.
comes back,
Right, but I think the front three, I think that's where the difference is. Because
I agree.
Salah,
I think that's fair.
Because Salah is at his best level again, could argue.
If Liverpool played Barcelona right now and were able to get a result,
4-4 would be the result.
you think?
100% would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think we keep waiting for these big tests, and Liverpool continue to surpass these tests.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering what will convince people, like where.
I don't know. Barcelona has the depth too. How many injuries they've had and players that have stepped up. How many that were under 22 did you have?
Yeah.
5 or 6?
Decent amount.
That's insane.
I'll give you this.
Survive the winter break.
Yeah.
Hold up. I'll give you this. And yes, and there's a big gauntlet right now. It feels like Barcelona is almost at their ceiling with how good they are because they are unstoppable. They're so good.
And it is a very high ceiling.
And how much more better can you get? I don't know because they're extraordinary at the moment. Liverpool has more room for improvement.
I don't disagree with that at all.